Hello and welcome. My name's Andy Crook and I'm your host for tonight's training topic on People First. My mission is to help garage owners become more successful in business. And to do that, I deliver a free training topic every week on a topic on one of the 5 pillars of business. Today we're talking about performance and particularly people first. So without further ado, let's get into today's training and let's talk about people first. And what we're talking about here is employees, not customers, because I believe if you get it right with your employees, then the profits will follow. While it's unlikely any of us will make the Sunday Times best companies to work for list, we can all make our businesses a better place for work. How can we do that? Well, I've got sort of 3 basic headlines that I've listed a number of things under. And many of these initiatives are things that we're either already implemented in my place of work or we're trying to implement. I'm not saying we're perfect, but these are the ideas that I've come up with that we're trying to work towards. And if you've followed any of these training topics before, you know that I like to do things in threes. So I've come up with 3 basic headlines around people first, and they are well-being, development, and satisfaction. I'll say that again: well-being, development, and satisfaction. So they're the 3 headlines, and they're very broad brushes and very broad brush strokes that I'm going to use under those headlines. But what I want to do is explore how we can make our businesses better places to work, to make it, should we say, a more comfortable or better environment for our employees and our staff to work in, which will have the knock-on effect, I'm absolutely sure, of greater productivity and more profit and all of that other good stuff that comes with it. Because ultimately, and I don't want to shy away from this, we can be a little bit too fluffy, I think, around the subject of why we're in business. And generally, we're in business to make money. Because if we don't make money, we can't keep the people employed. So we've got to keep that, if you like, at the vanguard of everything we do. But what can we do to make it better for the people who work there? And the idea is putting people first. So we're going to start in the well-being column, and I've broke it down into what I've called the big stuff and the small stuff. And we'll start with the big stuff around well-being. And we've all probably heard the term work-life balance, but that's not how I see it. I see it differently. I see it as life-work balance, and it's a small change. Basically changing the order of 2 words. But I think it signifies the importance of those 2 words when we say life, then work, balance. Because really, we work to live, not live to work. Unless you're incredibly dedicated, it should be the other way around. So what does that mean? What can we do to encourage people to live a life and go to work to enable that? Well, probably the first thing we can look at as employers and even as business owners, when we look at our own life-work balance, is can we work shorter or more flexible hours? That's probably one of the first big things we can change in and around well-being. So when it comes to the real big stuff, is it, in this day and age, does everybody have to work 38 hours a week? Does everybody have to come to work at 9 o'clock? Does everybody have to go home at the same time? Can we build into our workplace a more flexible work-life balance or life-work balance? So that's the first one to think about. Now, immediately, your probably initial reaction will be, well, hang on, someone needs to be here at X time to open up and someone needs to be here at Y time to shut. Does that need to be the same person? It's something to think about, and it's something that we've definitely implemented in my workplace. We've got 2 part-time employees. They do 16 hours. So although there's reasons why it's more difficult in terms of continuity of work, etc., but there are many reasons why you should try and make it happen. I'm not saying it's for everyone, it's something to think about. The next one, when we're talking about life-work balance, that I've put down in my list, is, could you be providing more holidays for your employees? We all probably do the minimum, and that's what's expected. Well, it's required by law. But could we give more? So we're thinking about. So one of the first things I thought about when we were looking at this in our business is, could we add a day's holiday for every year's service by the employee, up to a maximum of, well, whatever you want. And or if they don't use that, they can then have that in as pay, holiday pay in time of lieu. If you don't want the days to roll over, so you're not faced with a mass exodus at some point. But should you be worried if someone does save up their holidays because they're in for my personal experience, I once took all of my holidays in one go to go on a longer holiday. I wanted to go away for just short of 4 weeks. Is that something that would frighten you if somebody came in and said, I've been saving my days off, how many years can I keep rolling forward because I want to go on an extended holiday at some point? Can you allow that sort of flexibility in your business to enable one of your employees to have the holiday of a lifetime? It's worth thinking about. I know I really, really appreciated it when I did it. So that's the really big stuff around the life-work balance. But then we start thinking about, I started thinking about the other bit about our well-being, and that is our personal health. And do you, as a business owner, value the health of your employees? And if you do you provide free or discounted private healthcare? Is that something you could put on your, if you like, your benefits of working for you rather than your wages? Once again, it's worth looking into. There are many companies out there that do workplace health cover, and you'll be surprised it's not always as expensive as it first looks, although there is obviously a cost to the business. But would it be better to have more wellness initiatives? And what I mean by wellness initiatives here is things that prevent people from getting ill in the first place and then missing days from work, which is ultimately what we want to prevent here, because prevention is better than cure when it comes to healthcare. So can you have, for example, a day off for an employee, or a morning off where everyone has if you like, a basic MOT on their physical selves, so we can nip things in the bud. So and someone come in maybe and talk about their diet. Are you providing the right foods? And we'll come to that in a second. And are you providing the right example in terms of wellness for your employees? Is the workplace environment one that promotes wellness? Something to think about. And then on top of that, mental health awareness and mental health or wellness. Do you have a mental health first aider in your workplace? Things like that, what I'm going to call this the big stuff, are sometimes expensive, sometimes costly to the business, but do they actually pay in the long run? Is the return on investment in this stuff greater than the cost? I'd argue it is. I haven't run any numbers on that or done any research to get any data, but it just feels like, one, it's the right thing to do, and two, that it would pay off in the end. So that's the big stuff. So what about the small stuff around well-being then? Well, there are any number of things you can do in the small stuff column. Things that I've been thinking about is the sort of digital detox policy. Do you have a digital detox policy? What do I mean by that? Well, no messaging or emails out of hours or when someone's on holiday. Do you, are they removed from the email list or the messaging group messages or whatever it is you use in your business when they're on holiday or outside? Do you not send emails outside of working hours? That's the sort of thing that I'm talking about when we're talking about a digital detox policy. Do you provide a gym membership or a contribution to a gym membership for your staff? And now it might not be something that they get week one, day one of employment, but it might be something that they may earn for staying with the company for a period of time. What about employee-led wellness days? Now, this is different to the wellness initiative that I talked about earlier on, where we might get some sort of health practitioner in, take people's blood pressure, etc., or a simple blood test and have an MOT. What we're talking about here is what would the employees like, and could you put someone in charge of, and a different person in charge of, a wellness day? And they go away and find something out about their wellness, and report back, and then everybody sits in the staff canteen one lunchtime or for an hour just before we finish work and have a chat about what that employee did. That sort of thing, or maybe even a day out where we look into that sort of stuff. These are just ideas, as I said. Do you, or are you aware of the hobbies and interests of your employees? And the reason for this is because if they're doing something outside of work and you take an interest in it, you may be able to help them participate in some sort of event, or even if you just ask them on a Monday morning how they got on the weekend with whatever it is their hobby or interest is. It shows that you care. It just shows that little bit more interest in them as a human being rather than just an employee. And I've put down here, and goes back to the what I was talking about the example you set around wellness, is what's available in the workplace in terms of refreshments. What is your go-to thing in work? Do you have water and fresh fruit available? Is it tea and coffee? What do you have? Do you go and get a breakfast, or do you go and get a panini? That sort of thing is the sort of thing we're talking about when we talk about setting the example around wellness, because that leads on to my next thing, which is social activities. Do you have Fishy Friday or Chips Friday or whatever it is you want to? Is that as a wellness activity? It's great for bonding and the social and the camaraderie and having something to look forward to. But could it be water and lettuce, which is jokingly what friends of mine call it when we go for a pie and a pint, because I don't drink, and I'm generally on some sort of health kick, so I'm normally having fizzy water and lettuce while they have a pie and a pint. Is that the sort of thing we should be looking to? Do you get together once a week, once a month, once a quarter, or is it once a year and you think you've done them a favour because you've taken them out for a Christmas drink? That's the small stuff. And we can change lots of the small stuff. They're just habits. They're just things that we do. And we can start providing better environments and provide better examples for employees. And then the big stuff takes a bit more thinking about, costs a little bit more probably, and probably needs some sort of implementation and maybe even changes to working contracts. But if it's for the betterment of the employee, then it's probably worth thinking about. So that's the well-being. Let's think about development. So we have, I have a saying that we use in my place of work, where we have the personal development plan, the PDP, which comes before the professional development plan. So we have PDP1 and PDP2. And PDP1 is whatever that person's trying to achieve in their personal life that they want to share with you, and you might be able to help them. So more recently, we've helped someone complete a degree course. We've helped people get into rented accommodation. We've helped people buy a house with stuff that we could help them as a business, because we knew that's what they wanted to do. So we were able to be more flexible around working arrangements. We were able to look at their wage structure differently, and stuff like that. It's not always directly related to what they do. It's their personal development plan. Somebody, enjoys surfing, wanted not to work on a Friday afternoon in the summer. Well, why not? Make the hours up somewhere else. Finish early. Learn to surf. Fantastic. But then you got your professional development plan. And this is more than just CPD. CPD, continuous professional development, everyone should be doing that. But this is beyond that. This is supporting career and professional goals. This is the things like looking and asking if any employees want to go on any short courses. Many of these are free at your local college. There are many excellent programs out there to develop staff, such as the technician accreditation programs, getting people Diag Tech or Master Tech qualified by going on a program of learning, or someone who wants to get some letters after the name, accreditation with professional bodies. Can you help them with all of those things, and what's required to get, if you like, the next level up their professional career ladder? And that's what we talk about when we're talking about development. And this should be, and we'll talk more about recruitment possibly in a later training topic. But these are the things I talk about when I'm speaking to a prospective employee, not where they are now, but where they want to get to and how we can help them on that journey. And that's their personal journey as well as their professional journey. And finally, we're going to talk about satisfaction. And what is satisfaction? So obviously you probably think job satisfaction because we're talking about employees and not customers. But it's more than that. And we'll get into that in a second. But basically, what innovative practices have you got that are aimed at boosting employee satisfaction that go beyond traditional benefits and perks? The sort of things we've already discussed. But remember, the traditional benefits and perks still matter. Wages still need to be competitive. Just because you've got beanbags in the staff canteen doesn't mean you can pay them less. You've got to get the whole thing. The mix has got to be completely right. And the most important thing, I think, to get right in the first place in terms of job satisfaction is the working environment must be safe. That's both physically and mentally, inclusive and rewarding. You simply must meet the basic needs of your employees first. But by focusing on creating a more engaging, fulfilling and inclusive work environment for your employees, you will cultivate a more motivated, employed and fulfilled workforce. One that enriches the work life, fosters personal growth and creates a sense of purpose and well-being. The things I like to think about when we talk about job satisfaction beyond the, if you like, the traditional benefits, the wages, what else that comes with it, the healthcare and all that other stuff we just talked about, is do you ever consider the amount of autonomy your employees have? The degrees of freedom those employees have to exercise their judgment when they go about their daily routine. And that is probably one of the areas where you can boost job satisfaction the most. Make them own their job. Sounds simple, very difficult in practice. One of the easiest ways to do that is consider mentorship and coaching opportunities. Think about those kingpins in your business, the ones which, if they're not there, things don't go so well. Get those people to train somebody else to become the next kingpin in business through a mentorship and coaching program within your workplace. It will improve the morale of the coach and the coachee. It can never fail that as long as it's done correctly. So as per usual, I've waffled on a little bit more than my 15 minutes, so I'll try and wrap it up. So we want to prioritize the well-being, development and satisfaction of the workforce, not just as a moral imperative, but it's also a strategic one. It can lead to significant benefits for business, impacting on everything from retention, productivity and brand reputation. So what's the atomic action for this week? I always try and finish with something you could do, having listened to this today, that you can probably implement this week without it taking too much time or effort. So what I urge everyone to do is improve one thing this week that improves your staff's well-being, development or satisfaction. Load of examples there. Pick one. I'm sure you could do it. Thanks for listening. If I've made you think about how you can put people first in your business, then I've done my job. Thank you.